seen so much in the last year of the tentativeness of being in person or not. Here we go, back to being remote for 2 episodes, 38 and 39. However, still just as excited to get started here with this first episode, with episode 38. This is the last week to enter for the Adventure Tome giveaway. So next week, episode 39 will come out on our anniversary on September 19th, but you'll have to check out our Twitter and the YouTube shorts to see who won. But make sure that you get in to enter and see if you can win this guy right here. Last time we're doing this, the Adventure Tome. I'm not going to do the whole spiel. Stevens Woodworks. If you have not heard of him yet, go back and check out all of our other episodes recently, or also our Twitter or our YouTube, and find all of that. Wonderful box, stores dice, stores a miniature, KLD, King Leo DnD all over it. Very cool, very great stuff. Next to that, the t-shirt has officially been updated to now include Felon. So if you like on the shop, our spring tee, which is in the description down below, is part of our merch shop, which has things like this wonderful sweatshirt, our hip hip okay t-shirt, and just our regular King Leo D&D branding. The character names one now features Stellan and Rip. Has no memory or remnants of Cicero on it. I thought about doing the asterisk or the strike through, and I was like, nah, it's fine. So we now have Felon on the shirt. Next to that is just the recap, which was really fun to go back and listen to the last episode and hear all of the twists and turns and interactions that happened with characters and NPCs. But kind of a broad overview is, since leaving the lab and coming back into Populous, the half dozen has been hopping around and chatting up some of their favorite locals, leaving Munkin awkwardly at Savarin's home, questioning, he was kind of questioning Lorelith's interpretation of Savarin's servitude to the voice in her head and what her relationship to that is, and what Lorelith's kind of interpretation or understanding of that is as well, and that was left in kind of an awkward thread. Savarin also nowhere to be found. We've got Farragrand working on some sort of repurposing of the husk stone that Pilgrim brought from the lab after removing the aboleth taint of it. And then lastly, Rickeldar paying some 500 gold for the enchanted flail that was pilfered from the lab creatures. Amongst all of that, we've got Gwendolyn kind of between places right now. We're heading towards the woods to try to catch up with Lorelith. Pilgrim was in a conversation with Farragrand at Ocean's Deep Goblets. Felon was meandering around the lake and just enjoying some space and some distance in nature. Thule and Misery were we left them off, I think. I don't know if we got to see much of what they were doing over that last day.
We went to Smash Pods.
You did, yeah. You went to Smash Pods and were having some form of like breakfasty brunch situation, and so
we talked about Christine.
Oh yeah, I need to tell you about Christine. Yeah, and so clearly Joey and Misery will be absent from this episode. But if any conversation or stuff needs to happen with him, I can maybe fudge around with being Misery for a bit. But for Joey's sake, I think you would really appreciate getting that opportunity too. So we'll work with it and kind of get him into a space where it makes sense. But I think the first place we can hop into, let's maybe do Pilgrim. Pilgrim, what's in?
I just wanted to announce that the Queen is dead. And I wanted to announce it late enough into the episode that it would be impractical to cut it out. And so now we can start.
Yeah, can we have a moment of silence, please?
Moment of silence for the Queen. I did get this Scotch whiskey because she is of Scottish heritage, and so I will be...
I have this Leonardo da Vinci glass because she loved him.
Cheers to the Queen.
I heard she honey on a shark for her. There's a corgi on it, on the shark.
She would have loved that.
Her favorite tree was sycamore tree, so I have a sycamore beer.
Yeah, I remember her last words so fondly. She said, "My only regret is that I could never try sycamore's bubs and berry lemonade," which is so fantastic.
She did say that to William today.
She did in her final Platinum Jubilee speech. She mentioned how remarkable it is that Bubs only has 77 calories. That's extraordinary for a seltzer.
Shaking the globe, one country at a time.
Rachel, what you got?
That's right.
Man.
Ah, yes, the Queen's favorite tree, the American sycamore, the newest tree in North America.
If you also notice, Rachel, just for this moment, hung up a decoration behind her of mountains, because like mountains majesty.
Oh yes.
That was
Yeah.
in honor of Lilibet.
When she wasn't at Buckingham Palace, she was sprinting up mountains because she was such a strong lady.
Amen.
The Queen.
To the Queen.
To the Queen.
Sally, do you want to go see what Joey thinks, or?
I bet Joe's got something to say about Liz.
Go.
Sick.
Oh no, that poor man doesn't need to talk about the dead queen right now.
I
Even.
didn't know about the queen. She died. Is his answer? No,
That's
Rosie.
true. No, that's true.
Sorry, you have a cat now.
How's
No.
Rosie feel?
Huh? There he is.
Hey, hey, now that we're really deep into recording this episode and there are people that are listening and probably dropping off right now, a funny story about Ruthie. When I was feeding your animals,
Yeah.
Marty needs that wet dog food, but she would full on bully him away from the bowl to eat the food instead.
Yeah, she does that every day.
That was very funny to me because Marty's so assertive, but Ruthie was absolutely obliterating him.
Not assertive. Are you kidding me? This dog is afraid of wires. This is why he's stuck right there right now.
He dove into my leg to hump it. Are you
Oh.
kidding me? He's not assertive?
He won't go past where he's standing right now.
It
because
was a sprinting lunge into my
I would like to
body.
play Dungeons and Dragons, please.
Steven, you have a lot of editing to do.
That's all.
You think he's
it's
gonna
all
edit this
set.
out?
This tangent was giving the audience time to weep over Liz, and now we're in it. The end.
Sorry, Mike.
The end.
Anyway, let's hop into Thule and Misery at Pashpot. Smash Pods.
Pash pot.
I love Pash Pods. That's Passion's yearly conference at
Making
Smash
some
Pods.
feta.
Alright, at Smash Pods. In the afternoon. And as you were getting energized, Thule, but Misery's eyes just kind of keep looking towards the door, and you notice that as you're trying to continue conversation with him, he gets really spacey and is kind of just half listening, and you're starting to pick up on that in the middle of your conversation.
And I is there with our coffee, do they usually do, or excuse me, our Fetto, do they do some kind of like sprig of something? I'm going to say that they did, like some kind of little leaf.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pick it up and go like lean over and be like, Misery, Misery, Misery. This is your brain. And then I'm going to crinkle it. This is your brain on drugs. Are you okay?
Hey, whoa, yeah. I just remembered that there's somebody I haven't talked to in a really long time that I gotta go find.
Well, you sound just sick about it, frankly. So I guess that you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go do it.
Smooth, a very smooth transition. That sounds great. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be right here.
It'll be good.
Probably.
I'll
Actually,
catch
no,
up with you later, maybe, but I don't know. And then he gets up.
And I'm like, oh, okay, bye. And then I kind of just sit there and I swing my feet at the bar and I look around. What do I see?
All right, so you see, oh gosh, Tracy, and I think her name's Tracy. That feels really good in my brain right
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
Tracy is working. You don't see Kellen right now. That he usually comes in more towards around now, but he's just not quite there yet. There's a couple different tables of folks drinking, enjoying light conversation. Oddly enough, you have this moment as you're hearing little bits and pieces of people talking that it's just very casual, light stuff about like their day. You can tell that for the most part, this is actually like people who have come in from the east side of town to drink Veto here. So they've got some money. They're a little bit relaxed with their spending. And given that this is kind of the peak of the workday, it's pretty thin except for a couple kind of well-dressed folks. But anyway, what they're talking about is very casual, very common. And for you, kind of reflecting back on what yesterday entailed, and also the just last couple of days in taking care of Populous and this threat from the lake, just seeing these very mundane conversations happen. On one hand, it's like, oh, this is great. What's that?
I said people working on their fantasy screenplays.
Yes. To your own interpretation of how Tuli would feel from seeing these, it's anything from like, man, these people don't even know. Or also there's like the potential for this like, man, everything is okay. Like the fact that nobody seems to like know or care or be stressed about this is relieving and freeing because they didn't have to know the threats that were going on.
You want me to respond?
I mean, you asked around what you saw. And
Oh, okay. Tuli is feeling relieved, but her overwhelming feeling in this moment would be loneliness because she is obsessed with having people around her constantly. And so she is grateful for the downtime, but she's also feeling kind of a little bit restless, and that feeling is starting to grow. And so she's kind of swinging her feet, and then she like slams the cup down on the bar like way too hard and stands up and like screeches her chair back and disrupts everyone writing their screenplays. And then she kind of like twirls out the door basically. And she's going to go out into the street and she's going to look around. She's looking for something, anything interesting, anything to escape this feeling of restlessness, this feeling that she should be training, she should be doing something. Usually she tries to fill that void with friends, but there are no friends at the moment. So she's looking around for something interesting, maybe more friends. She doesn't know.
Great. Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
I shall. Right now. Okay, that's a 24.
Hey now. All right. As you
dream
kind of meandering, kind of middle of the way between like the first row or two rows of the houses on the west side of town, and you just got your ears perked up ears peaked.
Wait.
Your ears are perked up. And you're just like hanging on to any sound, anything that you could hear, trying to find anything interesting to see, familiar faces or anything at all. And eventually just off of the breeze of the wind coming in from the main street near the market, and coming out into the more residential area where you are, you can just hear the very commanding and directive voice of somebody leading through some other people and kind of talking through and kind of training them, and that tone of voice and that type of like rank and description, even just kind of walking through the here's what we do, here's why we do it type of conversation, that kind of draws you in, and it reminds you of your training and time that you would spend underneath of somebody, listening to their discipleship, their ways and their teaching. And as you get kind of closer to it and you're wondering like, oh, I wonder like, what are they teaching? You can hear this voice go into, and so you can see at every one of these bowls, we light them about 30 minutes or so right before full nightfall. And then we would have guards stationed at them and between them throughout the night. Especially here on this side of town, we just try to make sure that nobody gets robbed and nobody gets kind of ruffled up anywhere in the shadows where the firelight does not reach. And then after we head through this side of town, we're going to head outside and talk about the patrols that we run to make sure that nobody is lingering outside of town, as well as other beasts or threats that might exist. And so as you get closer and see, you eventually get to the point where there is a guy in kind of guard's robes, or guard's garb, with the kind of plate mail spear mounted to his back, and then a couple guys dressed in the similar stuff, but no capes on whatsoever. And he's kind of leading them through the central markets and speaking out.
Ooh. Do I see someone at a recruiter's booth with a sign about paying for college or anything like that?
This would be that.
Or is this one administratively standing?
Yeah. Yeah, he would be the booth.
Okay. I picture Thule like out of nowhere popping up next to him and saying, "Hi."
Hello there. I would just like to say we are working through some initial training here for a couple of plum wardens, and if you would not mind not interfering with what we are doing, I have a lot to cover today.
She says, she says, interfere? No. I would love to join you. And she like puts on her most winsome smile, which is probably, knowing Thule, not as charismatic as she thinks it is. Knowing her stats, so to speak. She like puts her fingers together and bows and says, are you in the market for new recruits? I don't mean to interrupt at all, but if you are doing basic training, are you interested in more recruits?
And this guy just kind of looks down and looks over towards the two guys who are walking through, who both just kind of just blankly stare towards him, over to you, and nobody seems to know how to react in this initial moment. The Lapis Warden, so you can see that he has a kind of a light blue cape, the guy that was kind of leading through this conversation and everything. He just kind of scratches the back of his head and looks you up and down. Well,
I strike my best pose.
You look capable enough. We are looking for some folks to do some patrols. Sure, if you want to join us and go about our initial day, we can put you to the test and see if you want to stick it out.
Thule says, she like touches her fingers together again and bows to them and says, I would love nothing more. And then she says, but do you want to see like a really cool spell or something? I can cast Agonize or Scorcher. And she like turns down the street and is like preparing to cast it down. Like, do they stop her?
No.
Okay, well, she's looking for a way that is there a direction where it's just cobblestone and no one will be hurt?
Yeah.
Okay, she casts it down that street.
Okay, and so like 3 massive geysers of fire just down the road, blasting stone and rubble all around, and you just turn back and smile with all the pride that you have for being able to do this. And all 3 of the guard and the guards to be just wide-eyed staring, and the 2 are just kind of like reaching at each other and kind of holding on to each other for like safety and comfort. And then the warden who's leading the training just, well, if you were that capable and trained, well, you would be very, very handy to us. Let us get you swiftly through training. We will gladly have you patrolling the perimeter and keeping our city safe.
Thule says, okay. And then she's like, maybe you can like hear, I don't know if we're fading to black right now, but if we are, you can hear her going, so who's the king? Or like, what political party are we?
And one of them goes, the queen is dead. And then
long live the king, or
that's hilarious. And so as you all head out of the town over the north and only bridge of the city, your conversation training continues to the afternoon into the evening, which then can segue us into the evening time. We just had Munkin in that conversation that then transitioned to Lorelith and Gwendolyn heading to Grengin's. Grenjin had talked with them both about him packing up and heading out in the morning, selling his house, and going to Bounty Faith to move in with a cousin who had written him and invited him to come and stay ever since Tabitha had passed away. So where that left off was Lorelith had ran off, and Gwendolyn, I believe, was searching for her to the best of her ability. I think it would be best to maybe handle some Gwendolyn first, and then see if she, how she would continue to search, and then if that's extremely effective, what that might lead to. So, Gwendolyn, you are by the Isero estate, the last we left you off. Well, the rebel behind.
Yeah, had I actually left yet?
Left Grengin's?
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes. Gwen thinks about where she would go and decides to head to the gate. Okay, I guess I did. I was gonna act like, given the 3 minutes or whatever I had to think about it since last session, I was gonna go back and just buy the house from Gringin, but I'll still have time. It's like evening time?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I'm gonna, so I head to the forest. I am gonna take my time because I suspect she wants some space. So probably once I get a bit out into nature as well, I'll like just find like a rock to sit on or something and hang out with the bees for a bit and give like half hour, 45 minutes or so. Assuming that Lorelith would like some time to herself, obviously. Would I be like visible, like if someone was coming back from the forest? I'm like in between the Isero estate and the gate.
That walk itself is maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and there is not any like torches or anything that the city maintains to make this area well lit. So you're pretty much in pitch black, unless
it's dark already.
Yeah, and so unless you're providing any type of light, which you might have.
I mean, I thought evening would mean it was like still light out or sunsetty.
I thought that we had the Grenjin conversation like around like dinner to late evening time with, or am I wrong? Was that afternoon?
It was like lunchtime.
Oh, great. Then I'm way off, and you're good. You were then, your afternoon, you're fine lit, all that.
I was gonna say, I don't know that either of us would have ventured off alone in the dark.
Sure.
So same question.
Right. Then you're
like an open field that like if someone was coming back from the forest, I would be visible.
Yes.
Okay. I think I will hang out for a bit instead of going and looking for her, because obviously she doesn't want to be with people, but I want her to know that I care. So I'm gonna sit on a highly visible rock.
Great.
With my bees.
Okay. Lorelith, then you are totally in the driver's seat for the situation of how much you would like to share, how long you were gone, if you would go to this spot, what all transpires that you think is helpful and good to share right now.
I think that I went off into the woods and I found like a safe-ish spot and set up like a little camp, including like a shelter and stuff. Do I need to roll for anything, or am I?
No, you're able to throw together all the stuff that you're able to find and kind of piece together a pretty safe, rised up off the ground a little bit, structure to put a bedroll on and anything that you would do to be safe there.
Cool. I'm there, and I'm planning to be there for the night at least. The end.
While you were setting that up, and you're kind of focused on it, and in your head, you're thinking through and getting all of the structure pieced together. Eventually, as you get the final piece of wood set up, you see Wolfie strolling in, and he's got 2 rabbits just hanging out of his mouth. And so he just walks over and sets it down and noses one over to you.
Aw, what a pal. I pick them up and kind of like and I make a fire and put them like on a stick, I guess.
Mhm.
And like, but before that, like, you know, skin them and stuff and clean them and find some herbs around to season it with, because I eat well, and make us some dinner. And I get that. I get it all done and made for Wolfie and kind of give it back to him and pat him on the head and pull out grab a stick and pull out my knife and start kind of like whittling as I'm thinking through all the events that transpired that day.
Yeah. For my sake, you give both rabbits to Wolfie, I'm guessing.
Right. Yes. And I have vegetables that I found.
Great. Cool. And so eventually time passes into when the sun does set and you spend some time out there, maybe 30 minutes or so, walk into the woods, remote, safe, all of the above. Gwendolyn, how long do you stay? How long do you wait? What do you do?
So I will wait until I estimate that I have enough time to get back into the city gate before dark. Whatever that amount of time would be with sunset, and I will head back to Grengens.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that then. So you can head back there. What's your intentions? What's your conversation? As you walk back in, at this point he's on his rocking chair by a fire that is well set up, and kind of just about to doze off, but he kind of catches himself when he hears you come in and walks by. He leans his head over, starts to stand up a bit, but then gives up and remains in the seat.
Like I just go in, I don't knock.
Up to you. I mean, I've just assumed we moved past that point.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. I will say I am mighty sorry to come back so late and interrupt you going to bed. You have an early morning. I cannot find Lorelith right now. I think she needs some space, but I would like to buy the house from you.
Oh,
For Lorelith.
that is great. I did not know that you would be interested in that. I'll just leave the deed on the table in the morning. No need to pay for it or anything. Then if it's staying with you and with her, then I'll be happy just to know that I can get where I need to go without that money.
We will certainly pay you for it, out of appreciation for how you've taken care of us and Lorelith especially. So I'll hand him like a small bag that I've already put 25 gold in from my share, and I'll talk to Lorelith later to see if she wants to split it or not, or we'll just buy it. It's fine. He said 15 to 20. I want to give him extra. I remember how much it was.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him a bag of 25 gold and like close it in his hand with mine around his, say like, thank you very much, get some rest, and then leave super fast so he can't do anything.
As you're putting it in his hand, he just looks directly at you and he's like, for a second tries to fight it, but with direct eye contact with you, he goes, "You're a very strong woman."
Say, love you, bye. Is there like a key or anything, or I'm just supposed to look for the deed tomorrow?
Yeah, he's not taking care of it right now, but in the morning he'll have all of the deed and keys and stuff set up.
Okay. I was going to ask to stay with him, but it'll be weird now, so. Oh, did I see anything about, like, I was near the Isro estate. What was the progress looking like?
Not much yet. We are looking at maybe it's been like 2 days since that conversation has met, maybe 3. So nothing has actually started. Yeah.
That's fine. Well, they only had 2 weeks, so 2 days out of 14 is a significant amount of time. But sure. They said they would build it in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. Where are we staying?
They said they would build it in 2 weeks from, right, 2 days. Yes, from 2 days ago. Yes.
I'm saying two.
Yes.
Do we still have rooms at the place?
No.
Should have stayed with French.
The Elisa Regional.
Yeah. Do we have to figure out where I'm gonna stay right now?
No, we don't have to figure it out right now.
Okay, cool. I
Right.
bought the house.
All right. Well, then you just bought a house, so. I'm just laughing because Cassandra and I are in the middle of buying a house right now, and then we just entered the stress of Gwendolyn buying a house. We'll get the inspection going real quick. It'll do great. Here's the thing I want to create space for, possibly, because Stellan and Lorelith have had some rapport, maybe, and I also want to respect the space that Lorelith wants. I don't want to impose anything. With the space that both of you have, I actually just want to ask, do you think that it's possible, from both of your perspective, that Stellan might stumble into where Lorelith is making camp?
Where
She's on the same side of town as me. She's right outside of town where I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not moving from the spot I'm in.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. It depends on if she's wandering or not. Because I have an idea of what I'm doing,
Okay.
and she may see me, but I don't know if I would run into her.
Okay, that's great then. Let's hop into Thelen. You can just describe what you were doing.
Okay. You said that it's kind of like nighttime. What, like?
You have the time range anywhere between midday to evening. It's kind of like the last time we checked in on.
Okay.
It.
So I'd say it's probably, I haven't done much throughout the day, just been walking around. But I would say that the sun is starting to set and the sky is getting to that really like royal blue with some hints of orange in it. And I say I'm just walking along the beach after seeing that eagle fly into my chest, still kind of thinking about things from that interaction and everything. And as I'm walking on the ground, the ground just feels too restrictive, and I want to feel more freedom or whatever. So I look for a downed log or something that I know is kind of dead or old that I can use to float. And I pull my, let's just say I'm wearing long pants, pull them up to my knees, and I push the log into the water and get Oba on the log with me. Then I kind of just float out to kind of feel that more weightlessness than walking on land, where the impact just stops you from experiencing freedom, if you will. And so pushing out into the water just makes me feel like I can kind of release my emotions and myself. And I use my druid crafting abilities so druid craft allows me to says that I can create an instantaneous sensory effect, such as falling leaves, a puff of wind, or the sound of a small animal. And so what I do is I create a sensory effect on the top of the water with the sound of an insect's wings and kind of a wind to create just that effect on the water, and almost jokingly pull fish up to come and see what could be there for them to eat, and then there's nothing there. So I'm just kind of playing with the fish in that sense, and Oba's kind of walking around on the log as we try and remain balanced, looking at the fish come up and kind of snapping at them, but then they go away as they realize there's not an insect there or anything. And I just kind of do that for a little bit and just see what comes of it. It's not mealtime yet for me yet, so I'm not thinking about food. I'm just kind of, I don't know, being weightless and kind of just playing with nature.
Great. No, that's good. I could definitely see like Oba seeing some of the fish start to come up, ears perk up and getting ready to maybe like pounce on them, but then the fish like dive away real quick, and then Oba relaxes and you just keep playing them up and pulling them up, and she's getting ready, but then never gets the opportunity. Great. No, I don't think that's close to where Laurelette is hanging out. She's kind of a bit deeper into the woods and all of that. So
Okay.
y'all maintain some space, don't cross paths or anything, and we can hop into Pilgrim. Pilgrim, as you are at Ocean's Deep Goblet still, you wrapped up your conversation with Fairgrand. Unless there's anything else you want to add to your conversation with Fairgrand. Okay.
No.
Eventually that conversation wraps up where he just looks over towards the door. Well, this has been good and productive, and well, no, not just I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed some time to be away from the shop and talking with somebody as intelligent and as thoughtful as you. So thank you for this time.
You too.
And then he gets up, walks over towards the bar, settles whatever bill y'all would have racked up with some drinks and food and whatever that might have come. Well, not food, some food maybe, but whatever's come through. And he heads out. How long do you plan on staying here after he leaves?
I think Pilgrim is eager right now to kind of cherish the moments that he is alone. And so I would say that Fairground leaves this room, and I'm just going to say that Pilgrim kind of sits there in that space with the shards for like an hour, I think.
Okay.
Just kind of sitting there and kind of thinking and looking at the shards and kind of thinking back over the conversations he's most recently had. About the shards and about Dustforge and about his past and all that different stuff, and thinking about what Rickledar said about him and Remy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then Pilgrim's gonna get up and he's gonna walk back out and just kind of make a quick scan of the room. No one's there anymore from our party, right?
So in Ocean's Deep Goblet, as you are kind of passing through some time, thinking through your thoughts and all of that, maybe around the time you stand up even, a woman walks into this bar.
You said woman.
Okay.
Margaret. I mean, Mary.
Martha? Are you moving
No.
somewhere?
I can't. I need all my wits about me, not if Martha comes in.
No, a woman comes in with, she's wearing a very dark red, like maroonish hood when she steps through, but she walks like 3 steps in, pulls the hood back, and you can see she's very tall and slender, but it's long red hair that has loose curls going down well past her shoulders, even a little gold and maybe some silver or platinum, you can't really tell, some type of like circlet or something that goes underneath of her hair, where it kind of ruffles over immediately just from going from top down, and you make it that far to the forehead, you can tell this is a very rich woman who is very odd to be stepping into this place. And then by the time you continue just looking over, being very aware of the people coming to this place, you can see there's almost a metallic kind of plate mailish, but more regular wear even. So some mixes of metal plates and leather to make this vest piece with a very flowing black cape, long leather boots that come up over it. Whatever pants she's wearing, you can't really see because the cloak comes down and the leather boots come up well up to her knee. She immediately just walks over towards the bar, says... That's fun. Says some words over towards Rickledar, and her head just turns over. She doesn't look at you, before heading over, and then she goes into the back meeting room that y'all have used a couple of times to have some private conversations. Rigaldar looks towards the bar, which another thing you noticed was for the handful of people that are here this evening, which is continuing to grow at this later, well, as it's getting more towards the dinner hour, the conversations and stuff that other folks were having, all of that kind of drowning out sound of being in a crowd just completely went flat. Everyone else's eyes were locked on her too. You can hear a couple words kind of chatter around. You can hear the words government. You hear the word panel. You hear the word Treya, and things like that, where you can, from the immediate response from people in the room and from her own dress, you can tell somebody very important just walked in, handled some business with Rigaldar, who looked at you and then headed into the back room.
He looked at me in like a significant way, or just a glance, and then he went off with her?
No, he after interacting with her did kind of look over towards you and scan the room, but he immediately then started to clean up some glasses and start reach down under the bar, and then he starts frantically like dusting a bunch of stuff behind the bar, and he's just kicking up all of these like clouds and stuff and kind of scrambling around before eventually he gets like a bunch of glasses. He sets them up on the bar. He makes his way out towards each of the tables, and then people start to just leave the establishment. Like he's just walking through, clearing the space, which you've seen him do when he's meeting and talking with the party under very serious business circumstances. He starts to do that, and then eventually everyone else is starting to leave, and he gets over to you. Pilgrim, do you know who that was?
I can't say I do.
All right. Her name is Treya Lalarian. She works under Felix here for the populist government, and she requested that I have you gather for that. That you could you get your allies together? She is requested to meet with you all in an hour's time. If you would go and do that, I will have everything ready here. She asked that you be gathered.
Yes, it will be done. And I kind of rock a little bit on my feet, and then I say, do you have any leads as to where I might find the rest of my party?
No.
I just nod, and I say, it will be done. And then I walk out the door with purpose.
Right.
And looking like the smart man that Fairground thinks I am.
Wonderful. So, may we do some form of quick search, where I think the only people it would make sense to potentially find are going to be perhaps Thule and Gwendolyn.
Okay.
And so, for Lorelith and Thelen, if you think you would make your way back into town at any point, or perhaps try to run into the party, I think that's fair game for you to speak up and say. But otherwise, I think we can say that Gwendolyn is found and Thule is found wherever you want to be found. Y'all can handle those interactions and everything, but we're not gonna roll to find the party. I think that can naturally happen across town.
You said we only have an hour?
An hour from what is now around the dinner hour.
Okay.
The dinner hour.
So you were more like evening into. This is like a bit after your lake situation. Like,
yeah. I was definitely back on shore and probably hungry now.
Oh.
Does Pilgrim have any powers where he can shoot off like a firework in the air?
Gosh, I wish. That'd be helpful, wouldn't it? Be nice if we had telephones.
should have bought that flare gun.
Cool. Well, are Gwen and Thule not together right now? They've split up, right? They're on their own.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whoever I run into first, I'll flip a coin. Even or odd, Thule and Gwen?
Even.
Okay, I find Gwen first. And I say to her first, Gwen, good evening. I have been tasked by Rigaldar with finding the party and it is taking a moment. Do you have any thoughts as to how we might collect our squad so that it seems there is a woman of great import who has walked into Ocean's Deep Goblet, and we do need to meet with her, apparently, according to Rickledar.
Oh, what woman?
Her name, I believe, was Thea, and she certainly had a last name. I'm sure we can ask her what it was when we meet.
Gwen looks confused. What?
Targaryen, I think.
What is she? Rhaenyra. What did she look like?
She looked important, and she seemed to intimidate the whole room. Rickledor did say that she works for Felix, the man, Catman, that ran the fest. I don't know why it's actually so strange right now.
He's a man.
Yeah, the man that ran the festival. So, the long story short, the half dozen needs to rally to Ocean's Deep Goblet. Is all I'm trying to say. How do we find the rest of our party?
I just want to real quick say the man who ran the festival would be like saying that somebody goes to like Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade and then walks away from that saying that Joe Biden guy who put on the whole thing right there, he's a cool guy.
He got all those floats out of his garage and put on a cool show for
Not even Joe, like Bo at that point.
That's also true. Got the name wrong too.
So she looks kind of like bristled and like straightens up and she's like, Treya?
Yes, do you know of Treya?
Yes. I love her. So my family works for her at the place, at the winery. Yeah. Wow. Why does she want to meet with us?
I'm afraid I'm unsure. She did arrive at Ocean's Deep Goblet and instantly retire to the meeting room. So we will soon learn, if we're able to gather our whole party, what exactly she wants with us.
You do not have as much information as usual, Pilgrim, but that's all right. Lorelith, we're not going to find her. I think she's camping. Grenjan's leaving. She's very sad. I bought a house. It's fine. We're not going to get to her.
You bought a house?
I bought Grenjan's house. I thought Lorelith might like it, and if not, I'll rent it out. Grenjan's leaving. Lorelith's sad. I think she needs some space, so it would be best if we did not find her. Last I saw Pilgrim. I'm
Pilgrim.
I'm trying to remember. Was the last that I saw Thule and Misery at that bar, or that was the night before?
It was the night before.
But that was the last that I saw them.
Yeah.
The last I saw Misery and Thule, they were intoxicated. So I feel like they would need to be recovering from that somehow, maybe with Fetto. Eggs and kegs and eggs. Thelen, he's kind of in that same realm as Lorelith of like, there's leaves. So, I mean, I'm kind of in that too. I don't know if we're going to find Thelen either. So maybe let's go look for Thule and Misery.
I burst into the room.
Covered in leaves.
Falls from the sky. This is on brand for the half dozen. We will collect slightly more than half of our party and return to Ocean's Deep Goblet.
Does she want like Cicero?
Well, she can't have him. None of us.
True. None of us can.
Great. Roll for finding montage. Oh, we found them. We found everyone.
Right. Yeah, at any point, y'all
Roland-
can just roleplay as Dylan and Tuli also join this conversation in the streets on their way back towards the Ocean Steep Goblet.
I like to think we were going to Smash Pods looking for Thule, which was not that was correct, but we like find her doing the plum warden training on the street on the way to Smash Pods. Like,
I don't doubt that I would have made my way back. Like
Mhm.
when we first came back after everything, I feel like I said I needed a day or two, and I feel like it's been a day and a half,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Dylan could definitely make his way back and be like,
Right.
I'll go
take
grab
a
some
little-
food.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a little bit of liberty with Thule. I think you'll find Thule wearing guards like clothes with a purple sash like hanging over her shoulder, and at this point she's like experienced the training, has gone back to the kind of like the barracks area where the guards shift and change and go through their like check-in and check-out processes, and all of that has been brought in, and within hours has been like established as the entry-level guard for the city. And she's immediately like wearing the clothes and being like, yes, I'm all in, this is me now.
Oh, hey guys.
I must say, I am quite impressed. Gwyn, you have purchased a home. Thule, you have started a new career. I have sat and thought, we're all moving at quite different paces, it seems. But hey, that's all right by me. On to Ocean's Deep Goblet.
did you tell Thule and Thelen
Yes.
that you told them what was going on? Okay.
Copy paste.
Thule, have you told us what happened with Misery?
Yes, I have. And
Hmm.
I'm picturing that Thule, that the like guards around her are exhausted and she is not. I will roll for that if need be, but she is very conditioned, and I'm picturing that she kept like her hand wraps, like as she would have wanted to have kept like parts of her outfit with the uniform.
Mhm.
So would they have let her do that, or
Oh yeah, you're good to
All the jewelry that you've taken.
yeah, all my bling, and the hand wraps and stuff, and yeah, she would go with y'all to Ocean's Deep.
to just kind of zip back to what that conversation would have looked like. Typically, all guards wear full plate mail because that is the most protected they can be. However, with you being a monk and in your training, you're actually pretty good in not wearing anything too heavy. And so you would have like, they had it too. Like they worked through with some like kind of leather work and stuff that you typically look less armored than the other folks do, but you know that you're way more agile and swift with not being encumbered by the weight of all of that metal on you too. And so that is kind of patched up in a way that looks really good and is like uniform, but no other guard has ever chosen to do that because they feel so unprotected, where you feel free and you still have that purple kind of half cape thing hanging off towards the back of you in this, but it's not the standard full plate like kind of armor that the guards wear.
Nice.
It's like David and Goliath. David knew he was a boss, so he didn't need the armor.
Exactly. That's exactly what Thule thinks about herself.
Okay, well then you head into Ocean's Deep Goblet, and the 1, 2, 3, 4 of you walk through the room. Rikuldar at this point has 7 well-polished glasses set up, and everything is like cleaned up and looking very good. And he counts the people coming in, kind of sags his shoulders for a moment, and puts a couple of them away. Couldn't get everyone tonight.
Absolutely not. We are the half dozen after all.
Well, I'm sure she knows what she's getting into. You all can just head on. Nope, I got this. And he sets the glasses back down, walks over towards the door, opens it up. Treya Lalarian, miss, and he kind of half bows towards her. We have half of the dozen, and then he kind of puts his hand over and kind of ushers you all to walk into the space. Treya stands up and stands to be about 6'2", which is impressive for this elvish woman, and she towers over, I think, all of you. Maybe not Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn and her might be eye to eye, but she also kind of gives a half bow towards Rickledar and you as you all enter. The table is set up in a way that there's plenty of seats for you all at a circular table, and Rickledar then looks towards it and back and goes, I will fetch some ale, and Treya just goes, the wine, and he goes, the wine, and then he heads out of the room. Welcome, and thank you for meeting me with such short notice. I appreciate you gathering as many as you could. I imagine you would be Pilgrim, is that right?
That is right. It is wonderful to meet your acquaintance there.
It is Treya Lalarian.
It is wonderful to meet your acquaintance, Treya.
Thank you. And I believe we have Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Hello. Good. Nice to see you again.
I thought it might have been the same name. I wasn't sure, but seeing you, it verifies that. And Tuli, am I saying that right?
Tuli puts her fingers together and bows and says, "That's perfect.
Great.
That's so nice to meet you."
Is this Misery?
No, my name is Thelen.
Ellen. Oh, I'm not sure. Are you a part of this crew?
As of recent, yes.
I see that. We weren't aware of that, but it is great to see and meet a new face as well. Well, please, I'm sorry. Come, go ahead, sit down. Let's get to know each other a little bit. As Gwendolyn and I, I'm sure have met maybe a couple of times. I should not assume we're all as warm and welcome to this as we are. But if you have not heard of me, though, I know that actually all of you are new to town. I believe Pilgrim, Tuli, and Thelen. I work for Populous itself, and in brief, supply the city and manage our relationships with other cities and trade what we provide to other cities, what cities provide for us. I also, and I'm sure he will be in with it, maybe you've had some or tried it, but the Lalarian estate does quite a bit of wine work and wine pressing, and so we supply quite a bit of the city's wine as well as many others in the area. I had a bit of a hand in the founding festival, which I also believe that many of you had a hand in, as I believe you performed there, and I got to see a bit of your prowess, though mighty impressed that day from what I saw. I must say everything that I've heard from, Rickledar has shared some, and so has Munkin, and even just some of our guards and scribes as just keeping track of the coming and going of people who are within our town, that, your work has been well appreciated, well understood for what you've been able to accomplish around town and within the lake. And Munkin has let us know very clearly how much we are in deep gratitude and thanks for what your group has been able to accomplish.
I smile and I look around the table. I was waiting for someone else to say anything.
Thelen just nods.
I want to say thank you so much. We have worked hard to serve Populous well.
Well, great then. And I would hope that. And then Rickledar, you can hear the door just open back up, and Rickledar has his arm kind of stuffed with 5 wine glasses and then a bottle of wine. And so he's going to walk in a little awkwardly. And you can also see that the wine glasses have been hastily dusted because he spent so much time on ale glasses, and now he's got dusty wine glasses. Oh man. So he comes in and he sets those down, and he's still trying to dust off some of them, but then uncorks the wine and pours a couple really quick and sends it onto the table. And he kind of quick bows and sets the bottle down on the table and walks out. And then Treya raises her glass and I would just like to say thank you. And may this at least start that conversation to say enjoy and what I hope to be, well, to those who live to serve. And then she raises the glass.
To those who live to serve.
Tuli kind of pushes the glass away from her, looking a little sick. And then she says, no thanks, I'm not much of a wine drinker. And she like winks at Treya. And then she says, no, but in all seriousness, I'm very hungover. And she kind of fake cheers.
I take mine and I clink my glass against hers, and I clink my glass against the one that Tuli didn't pick up, and then I take a little sip.
Great. For those who, go ahead.
Thelen just smells his and then raises it with a nod.
Great. Gwendolyn?
Oh yeah, I raised it right away. Did the thing, said to those who live to serve.
Okay. For those that do drink it, it is
Poison!
What?
It's poison.
No!
Lorla, save us.
It tastes fantastic. It's just a very bright and fruity kick of a very sweet start. And then ends with just the olive flavor actually fades away really quick, and there's no lingering flavor. There's no long aftertaste or anything. And all you get is this very quick burst of a bright sweet. She sets her glass down. Well then, with the formalities out of the way and the well wishes and appreciation being bestowed and communicated, I would just first like to say that, well, let's see, we've got populous business to talk about, as well as a potential job, not even potential, a hopeful acquisition, I would say. Is it possible? Well, I'd love to see, where would you like to start? Would you like more of potential gifting and partnership, or would you like to talk about some work that we would like to propose?
Wherever you would prefer to start.
Well, we'll find then if there are no preferences. I think
We live to serve you.
Amen.
music to my ears as well. Well, before we get into that, I would love to first say that we heard of the development that was going to start out on the that Isero land that exists just outside of the city walls. And as we were talking with Rickeldar, which he seems to be heading up the work that is going on in that space, and well, those that he contracted being more than capable. I don't wish to kind of undersell their ability, but the budget line and the way that they're working through it, just to be short, if you would have it, Felix and I were talking through, and as a reward and thanks for the work that you had done so far, and not even on any future work too, just based on who you are and what you've accomplished, well, we would like to expand that property to be more of, let's say, a keep, a place that not only would house you and the whole party in some way for you to well, have your own establishment, but also just to commemorate the work that you have done in some way, to be a thank you and kind of a beacon of remembrance for the way that you have served populace as a whole, to show populace that those that protect the city and care for it are what makes this city great. And we would just love to have a hand in developing you and your group as remembering that and knowing that we are at your backs. So if you would have it, we would love to, let's say, provide some of the best mason workers and best designers for what that space could withhold. I believe that, well, Rickeldar and he and I can work through some of those details, but the room that he described, the building for that matter, only had like 4 or so rooms. I'm thinking we could provide something much larger, at least 8, and be a bit more expansive and comfortable and really show anyone, not necessarily those just from Populous, how important it is for those who do live to serve and do protect and care for those that live in Populous. Anyway, I've been rambling quite a bit, and I'm not even sure how you feel hearing what I've said. So where are you with that? And would this be some type of way that we, as the City of Populous and the panel and those that lead the city, could express gratitude and thank you for the work that you have done?
Could this space have a meditation pool?
I second that motion.
As easy as the words are to say, it can be done.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Got him. Ooh,
I guess you did.
this isn't even Martha.
We gotta take a break for Steven to cry. Be right back.
Even what is going through your mind right
Funny.
now?
That's not even a joke.
No.
No.
It was just well said.
Yeah. It's just like, I thought it was a weird ask, and she's like, easily. Okay. I smile, and I kind of close my eyes and do a nod, and I say, Treya, this is most generous. A remarkable show of kindness from you and the City of Populous. I am humbled by this, and I won't speak for the full party, but I, for one, am honored and very excited to see what these gifted craftsmen and women create.
It is amazing what strong women can accomplish. Get Stephen applause again. Anyway, well, great. I mean, as you said, you do not speak for the party. Is this? I don't know how you make decisions or how you if you have a leader. And then she kind of lets that moment hang.
We did. His name was Cicero, and he is off in the mountains, finding himself. So now we just sort of sit and stare at each other until someone gets uncomfortable.
I elect Pilgrim.
I think we're quite democratic in our approach of having discussions. Cicero was not the leader, but the estate was his, technically, that we agreed to. However, I do not think he or those not here with us, Misery and Lorelith, would have any qualms about what you've shared, and it was very generous and kind. So thank you. Tuli and Thelen are here, and so they can speak their opinion. Of course, I appreciate it and would be very interested.
I have no hesitations.
Tilly says, "Oh yeah, 100% done. In."
Great, done. Well, I know that the previous completion date was, well, a mere 10 days away, but even then, with more hands and more funds to back it, I'm sure we could get that done within maybe 7 or so. So if you would, each of you could maybe write something up or give some sort of description of desires and needs for your own private space or whatever common space you would like done, any iconography, color palettes, etc. All of that, if you would just send that over towards the archive. I'm sure some of the scribes will get that to me, and we will work with it. I cannot promise all, so use your imagination and creativity to the greatest depths that you can. However, we will just have the skilled hands and money to back what can actually be done. if you get that to me within a day or two, I'll get that over towards the company that will be working through the production, and we'll see what we can make happen.
I would like the meditation pool to be under the building.
Good. Okay, great. That like the bottom where you go downstairs into more like a basement that has a good, relaxing private space.
Like an underground cave.
I see.
We'll provide written requests as you've asked.
That would be best. Thank you. Well then.
I'll assume Gwen is like next to Pilgrim and like elbows him slightly.
Next is the proposition, I suppose, then. I have been and will still be preparing for a bit of a jaunt, an expedition to head, a couple of days' journeys east from here, with the potential, with the hope, with the aspirations to further the trade agreement that we have with another city, well, to establish a new trade agreement with another city. The particular one that I'm hoping to head to, and first of all, the city, I'm heading to Dustforge. There has been a steep I'm heading to Dustforge, intending to head to Dustforge. We have been hearing word about this particular resource and something that, well, they export and they also do refine. It is called dust glass. And so we are hoping to acquire this in some form of agreement so that we may use this in our own development as a city and see what the capabilities of a stone like this might be. In simple, I'm heading to go there and meet up with some of their leadership and their production to see what this looks like, as well as hopefully acquire some of it, if not a steady income of it, for the sake of whatever we could provide as populace as well. And, well, a couple of things. One, the city is great and seems to be somewhere that is worth exploring and seeing, but more so than that, the road is quite dangerous. And so I could easily rally up a couple of guards, though I feel like we've been a little short of those and trying to train up some new recruits once we've been hearing of and seeing the work that you all have been providing, I would love to see if we could pay you to be some form of an escort and provide safety and protection on the road, as well as safety and protection within the city. I do not know their people well, do not know what that would be like. And so we would stay within the same the place or establishment. All room and food will be provided as we are there. And then, of course, we will compensate you for your time as we are spending that. What would be maybe at least somewhere around, 1.5, maybe 2 days journey each way. And then depending on how agreements go, that might be 4 or 5, maybe a week. I don't know. We could be talking anywhere from 8, 10, 12 days, which we can work through in some form of contract, what your compensation rate would be on a daily basis, knowing that your beds and your food will be provided as well. Anyway, I seem to be rambling again. Again, your thoughts, your response, I would love to hear it.
I have had great interest in this dust forge you speak of. I would be happy to accompany you. And it sounds like by the time we return, our beautiful new construction project will be complete.
In fact, yes, I didn't really clarify this. I intended to leave in maybe 10 days or so. So we still have plenty of time within here in the city as I'm preparing to go. The place that you hopefully will live in, this keep, will be developed maybe a couple of days before we even head out. So we've plenty of time. You can think it over. You can check in with your fellows that are not here, but I'm glad that you are at least interested. Does the democracy speak this way?
I look around the table.
I will be happy to join regardless. Thank you for the opportunity.
I'll tag along.
Tuli says, "Where my friends go, I go." And she like stretches a big arm around whoever's sitting next to her. And then she says, "I've also recently taken up guarding, so I'm very interested in that as well."
Well, then I'm sure we can work this into your specific placement, as I see that you have taken this up, this mantle. And in fact, there may be swift promotion there with you, because this is a bit higher standard than what somebody in the plum warden position would be of. And honestly, surprised they started you there. I've heard you're much more capable than what we typically put people to do in that station. So we can work that out. I will speak with, gosh, give me 1 second. Glenn. I will speak with Glenn about that paperwork. And then I will also speak with, I think your sponsor is Rickeldar, is that correct?
Yes.
We'll speak with him.
Everyone looks like Gwen. Oh yeah, Rickeldar. Yeah.
Great. Well then, it seems like we have a couple contracts to work through. I will get a contract going with the development of this half dozen keep, the keep of the doesn't name. Yeah, well, it's a work in progress. And then I will work up a contract with Rickeldar. We'll talk through your daily rates, which will be paid that way, and also your food and bedding to be taken care of, and then
Halfway home.
Yeah.
Is that insensitive?
Did you say halfway home?
Half dozen's halfway home.
It's at least uncomfortable. It's somewhere between uncomfortable and insensitive.
It's
No.
somewhere
Okay, maybe
between
not.
bad and uncomfortable. What
Works
about
out.
rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth II? Can it be called rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth?
Yes.
What about
Yeah.
Long Live the
You
King?
Called We
Right.
Heart Trivia. I didn't say that in the game. I'll say Lorelith and Misery will most likely go, but we can confirm that within 24 hours.
So 1, 2, 3, 4 for sure, maybe 2 more, half dozen, got it. I will work with Rickeldar and write up some type of contract that has the per capita rate for however many will join, and then work that through as you potentially recruit your allies, or if they have other business they would like to attend to. Great, I have a good set of ideas of what I need to do next, and I think, wow, this was only one glass of wine's time. You all are very efficient.
Tuli's gonna say, Mistress Treya, is there anything that we should be doing to prepare for Dustforge?
The Dustforge, the city itself?
Yeah, like what kind of dangers could we expect? Is there any specific kind of environment? Anything? I mean, is it cold there?
Great question. What was that last one?
Is it cold there?
That's a great question. There's a couple of things. Simply for the road, I imagine, as we would prepare for anything from the minimum of some street ruffians and road ruffians that may try to take advantage of some lowly, unprepared travelers, which I think we would swiftly prove otherwise, or anything as large as the very intense and unkempt beasts of the wild. And so that may be anything from trolls to bears to, whatever else goblins may kind of knock at the wagon's door, so to speak. And then when we get to Dustforge itself, it would perhaps be a little bit colder. We would be traveling through some of the mountain cold, so any type of clothing and preparations you may need for that as well. It has been particularly harsher from what we've heard from some of our messengers and those that have been setting up this correspondence. So yes, please prepare to dress warmly. The city itself is actually entirely within a cave system. One large cavern that encapsulates the whole of the city, and then some caverns and trails and stuff underneath. So, which I would, yes, also expect some type of whatever's comfortable to wear in caves. I'm not sure. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it gets wet there. I don't know.
Depends on the cave.
Do you know? Do you have more to offer than that?
I lived in them.
Great. Well, then you would be a great resource for them to figure out whatever is best for them to wear, I suppose.
Indeed. Thank you.
Well, we have become business partners on a couple fronts, which is very exciting. I'm happy to work with you again. And may I say this from the perspective of not just Populous as a whole, but also from the entirety of the government, from Felix to myself and everyone in between. That we thank you for the work that you have done, the way that you have protected our city, protected those who live close to the lake, and that you would further working with us and even see to my safety and protection. All of this is very, very encouraging, and I appreciate it all.
And also with you.
Wonderful. Well, and then she looks at her half-empty glass, finishes that off with a smile, stands up. You may enjoy the rest of this bottle, and then I'll be sure to make sure Rigaldar is paid for another one if you wish to remain here and relax and recline and enjoy the peace that you currently have on me. She smiles and walks out of the room.
As soon as she stood up, Gwen stood up as well.
Right.
And I kind of half second after see Gwen get up and I get up too.
Gwen says, thank you, farewell.
Thank you, Governess Treya.
And thank you all. She heads out. We can just end that episode right there.
Hard stop.